Alright guys, today we are going to be reacting to thank you Germany. They just did something unbelievable for Ukraine. Let's jump in, guys.
Dollars in military assistance already pledged. The country is the single biggest Ukrainian donor in Europe and second overall, only behind the US. But guess what? This European powerhouse isn't stopping there. Germany's latest move had Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky signing off an X post with Danke Deutschland. That's thank you Germany in German. And trust us, this gratitude was well earned. So what did Germany just do to make Ukraine and the world take notice? Let's find out. What do countries at war need the most? Money. It buys weapons, funds troops, secures supplies, and keeps the economy running. Without it, even the strongest army would grind to a halt. So you already know, Germany's latest game-changing move has everything to do with money, and lots of it. On March 21, 2025, Germany passed a historic spending bill, unlocking billions for defense and infrastructure. And we aren't talking about a few billion. We're talking about the biggest spending package in the history of Germany, as Lars Klingbeil, the co-leader of the country's Social Democrats, described it. So how much money are we talking about here? As much as $1 trillion over the next decade. Yes, you heard that right, $1 trillion. Let's break this landmark figure down. For starters, German lawmakers are tearing down constitutional borrowing restrictions for defense spending above 1% of GDP. According to the International Monetary Fund, Germany's GDP for 2025 is predicted to be $4.92 trillion. That means any defense spending over $49 billion will now be exempt from the debt brake. This doesn't mean a guaranteed $49 billion boost each year, but it clears the way for much more military funding going forward. This is huge news, as the previous major investment in the country's defenses was the 2022 one-off fund of $108 billion, which was aimed at modernizing the Bundeswehr, Germany's armed forces. However, most of that is already spent or spoken for, so this new package blows the doors wide open for even more defense procurement on an unprecedented scale. But even this is just the beginning. Germany will also establish a special off-budget infrastructure fund that will be allowed to borrow as much as $540 billion over 12 years. Now that's a historic figure. Of that money, $108 billion is going straight into the Climate and Transition Fund, while another $108 billion is being funneled to Germany's 16 states for regional projects. Plus, the states will now be allowed to borrow as much as 0.35% of Germany's GDP, roughly $17.23 billion, instead of having to run balanced budgets. That's some serious firepower for infrastructure, now with a lot less restrictions. Given the staggering amount of money at stake, it's no surprise that getting this bill passed was no quick and easy task. In true German fashion, every euro was scrutinized, debated, and negotiated, and it took a long time. As Lars Klingbeil put it, this debate has been going on for years. According to him, the whole process had led to a blockade that made government work more difficult. That's why excitement was already brewing when an alliance of Chancellor-in-waiting Friedrich Merz's Conservatives, the Social Democrats, and the Greens managed to push this unprecedented investment package through the lower house with 513 votes out of 733, clearing the two-thirds threshold required for constitutional changes. Then came the upper house on March 21st, where the bill passed with 53 votes in favor, more than the required two-thirds majority of 46. It was a nail-biter, but they got there in the end. Once it was approved, the path was clear for President Frank-Walter Steinmeier to sign it, which he did the very next day. And that single signature unlocked a treasure chest filled with hundreds of billions in debt-financed spending that will change Germany's future. But Germany isn't the only one poised for transformation. This monumental decision also has the potential to reshape Ukraine's security and Europe's stability. Let's start with Ukraine. Under this new package, Germany is unlocking an extra $11.88 billion in support for Ukraine. Better yet, $3.24 billion is coming this year, 2025, and that's on top of the $4.32 billion Germany already planned to give you.
I understand Germany doing this. I do. They want to make sure that they don't bring the world close to Europe, closer to the western area of Europe. I understand. They're trying to make sure that they can help Ukraine as much as possible, but do not bring the war closer to us. I understand.
Ukraine. As for the remaining $8.64 billion, they will be allocated over the coming years, up to 2029. This kind of long-term financial backing shows that Germany is in it for the long haul, and this wasn't easy to get done. For months, Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz faced political obstacles and debates about how to fund this aid, especially after his insistence that the aid shouldn't come from the regular budget, but rather new borrowing. The political wrangling was tough, but in the end, Germany delivered on its promise to stand by Ukraine. And for Ukraine, these funds are huge. They might not be the biggest chunk of the entire bill, but they are a lifeline for the invaded country. This is the kind of military and humanitarian support that could make all the difference in the coming years, especially with how unreliable Ukraine's biggest donor, the US, has become. After a disastrous meeting with Zelensky in the Oval Office, US President Donald Trump briefly paused military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Although the pause lasted for roughly a week, it showed just how fragile Ukraine's reliance on the US could be. In contrast, Germany has shown unwavering commitment to Ukraine's defense, and Scholz made sure to reiterate this comment in his recent remarks in Brussels. At the European Council meeting, Scholz declared with unwavering confidence, "Ukraine can rely on us." By us, he meant Germany, of course, but also the remaining 25 European Union member states, which also stand side by side with Ukraine. And Scholz didn't just stop there. He also emphasized that Europe's future is tied to Ukraine's success, saying that the prospect of EU membership for Ukraine must remain open. He hailed Ukraine's potential future as a sovereign, democratic state, signaling Europe's long-term support for the embattled nation. But what does this support look like in tangible terms? Let's take a closer look.
I'm always wondering what will happen if Ukraine become part of the European Union. What will happen? Would that... How would Russia react to that? You know what I'm saying?
At exactly what Germany is expected to send to the Ukrainian front lines. While specifics remain under wraps for now, we already have an idea of what's in the works, based on statements from military experts, as well as Zelensky himself. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, Zelensky welcomed Germany's commitment, emphasizing that the country is providing exactly what Ukraine needs most, what saves Ukrainian lives. And in this moment, this refers to air defense, artillery, drones, armored vehicles, demining equipment, and more, as Zelensky's ex-post states. Military experts have agreed with Zelensky, though they went into a little more detail. Benjamin Tallis, the director of the Democratic Strategy Initiative, noted that Germany's aid for Ukraine will include air defense systems and interceptors, although some may take time to arrive. We're talking about systems like the Iris-T, a European-made air defense system that Germany has pledged to send, along with Patriot systems, which are US-made but crucial for Ukraine's defense. Additionally, Germany is preparing to send surveillance equipment, sensor technology, and light weapons to Ukraine. These are all critical tools in Ukraine's battle to hold off Russian advances. As Tallis explains, it's a mix across the board of things that Ukraine needs, from radar systems to guided missiles. And while the exact timeline remains to be seen, there's no doubt Germany is making sure Ukraine has the right tools to defend itself. Plus, when the time comes, we'll have the exact breakdown of the arms and military equipment sent to Ukraine, as the German government keeps a pretty detailed overview of it on its website. We'll dive into this overview to get a clearer picture of the types of weapons and military equipment that might soon be heading Ukraine's way. Let's start with the only systems that have been mentioned by name, the Iris-T and Patriot systems. Iris-T air defense systems are highly capable and crucial in defending against Russian air attacks. However, some of these systems are still in production, meaning they won't be ready for delivery until 2026. So far, Germany has donated 6 Iris-T air defense systems and dozens of missiles for them. In fact, just recently, in mid-January, Germany committed to sending 60 more Iris-T missiles valued at about $65 million. Coming directly from Bundeswehr stockpiles. These missiles are expected to play a vital role in Ukraine's defense against aerial assaults, while the more advanced systems are still in the pipeline. Of course, by more advanced systems...
I'm guessing that they're just giving them, like, old equipment, right? Some of the old equipment, some of the new equipment, and I'm guessing the new equipment is just to try it out. Just to try it out and see how it works.
We are referring to the US-made Patriot defense system. So far, Germany has donated 4 Patriot launchers to Ukraine, accompanied by a significant number of missiles. The Patriot system is one of the most advanced air defense systems available, and its inclusion will give Ukraine a stronger line of defense against a wide range of threats. Speaking of air threats, Germany is also expected to donate drones to Ukraine. So far, the German government has committed a substantial number of drones to the country, all of which are invaluable for Ukraine's offensive and defensive strategies. These include 684 RQ-35 Hydron reconnaissance drones, 549 Vector reconnaissance drones, 211 Songbird reconnaissance drones, 60 Golden Eagle reconnaissance drones, and 46 Hornet XR reconnaissance drones. The reconnaissance drones are essential for gathering
look at
intelligence.
These drones, man, I never knew about these drones. Even this small one, these two on the bottom, the helicopter and this one right here. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Spotting enemy positions and providing real-time data that can guide Ukrainian forces' movements and decisions. However, Germany has also donated 900 HF-1 strike drones, which give Ukraine the ability to carry out targeted strikes on Russian positions. Although we don't know for sure which of these drones Germany will send next, we know they'll have a huge impact in the coming battles. After all, the Russo-Ukrainian war has been dubbed the drone war for a reason. Next up, combat vehicles. These heavy-duty machines will provide Ukraine with much-needed mobility and firepower on the battlefield.
Man, I'm telling you, the Ukraine military is being equipped, man, to the teeth with a lot of these. That clearly they have become a very sustainable military power because they're really holding themselves quite well. I would say quite well.
Its ability to confront Russian forces head-on. While the specifics of the numbers and models sent to Ukraine this time are still unknown, we can make some educated guesses based on those sent previously. Among the most important combat vehicles Germany has already committed to Ukraine are 103 Leopard 1A5 main battle tanks, 140 Marder infantry fighting vehicles, 203 MRAP mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles and 50 Dingo variants, and 66 armored personnel carriers. However, the most exciting part of this new aid package might just be the possibility of sending cruise missiles to Ukraine.
Dang.
While nothing is confirmed yet, there's growing chatter that Germany could soon deliver long-range Taurus missiles, a move that would be a game-changer. If this materializes, it would mark a major shift in Germany's support for Ukraine. The Taurus missiles, with their impressive 300-mile range and precision, would give Ukrainian forces the ability to strike deep into Russian territory, even without US support. That's why Merz has been one of the most vocal proponents of sending these missiles. During his visit to Kyiv in December 2024, he pledged that if his party won the upcoming elections, he would ensure the Taurus missiles reach Ukraine. His party in fact did win, which brings Ukraine one step closer to these long-awaited missiles. Finally, there's been some speculation that part of this new aid package might also go toward bolstering Ukrainian industry. So far, Ukrainian manufacturing has proven to be highly efficient and cost-effective, particularly in producing drones and longer-range strike weapons. Given the dire need for these types of tools on the front lines, supporting domestic production could not only help Ukraine sustain its war effort, but also increase its autonomy in defense technology. This push ties into a broader shift within Europe itself, one that's increasingly focused on reducing reliance on external powers for military and defense needs. And this new bill is a massive step in the right direction, signaling Germany's intent to take more control over its own defense future, as well as Europe's. Let's start with Germany first, as Merz called unlocking billions of dollars in military spending the first great step toward creating a broader European defense community. But let's face it, it's a major step for Germany too. The country has historically been cautious about military spending, which has led to years of underinvestment. And even when Germany did invest in its defenses, there were concerns about the effectiveness of these transactions. As Tallis points out, Germany has historically funneled funds into expensive upgrades to old equipment like tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, rather than modernizing its military with the capabilities that are actually needed in the current security landscape. Also, the country tends to spread resources too thin across different services to ensure everyone receives a share. Though this approach sounds noble, it's now time to focus on targeted investments in areas critical for Germany's and Europe's defense needs.
Well, I think the videos are very self-explanatory. I think at this point, let's see what happened. I think being objective here, I think Germany's doing the right thing to just not only helping in their life, but I understand. Most importantly, trying their equipment, see how it works. That way they can receive some feedback. You see what I'm saying? And that's the most important, because a lot of countries, they build these equipment, but they don't try them. For example, I think North Korea, their soldiers have no type of experience. However, they're very well trained and all that stuff, but when it comes down to real combat, they have no experience. So with this, Germany's getting some of that feedback, and hopefully they can get they can fix some other stuff and just get a better equipment in the future. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You guys want to watch the rest of the video, I'm gonna put the link in the description down below. I'll see you next one.